Well, it's no secret if you drive for DoorDash or really any gig economy platform, think about how you're doing the work, right? Maybe let me know in the live chat if you're watching live or watching the replay down below. Like, what marketplace are you in? You probably use your personal vehicle, maybe a rental. You could do that, but you're spending money on gas. Maybe you have an EV, let me know. But if you're using a gas vehicle, yes, certainly, most likely are feeling the pinch right now of rising gas prices. Well, something that was just announced from DoorDash, you and I are going to go over this today. They just responded. DoorDash, gas price relief for Dashers. This just went live. Let's go over this announcement here to detail what this means for you and I as Dashers. If this is the first time you and I are meeting, I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My name's Mike, and I've been doing gig economy platforms like DoorDash, Uber, Amazon Flex, Walmart Spark, basically all of the major ones for 10 years now. Consider subscribing. So they say DoorDash is launching an emergency relief program to help ease the impact of rising prices at the pump for US Dashers. Let's see what this is. Very interesting. And again, if you're watching live, like Bitcoin right here, welcome in. Definitely like this video if you appreciate me bringing this to you first. Let's begin. Today, DoorDash is launching an emergency relief program to help ease the impact of rising prices at the pump for Dashers and keep more money in their wallets. Again, I'm here in Pittsburgh. Gas prices are around $3.80 or so, but your marketplace might be a lot higher. So let me know what gas prices and where they're at right now. This program includes 10% cash back on gas for US Dashers using their DoorDash Crimson card and weekly relief payments for Dashers who drive 125 miles or more while dashing. So right off the bat, DoorDash is announcing on the top 10% cash back on gas for Dashers. That's number one. But then number two, if you drive at least 125 miles while dashing, we'll go over this to get more info and we'll kind of discuss, what this means, if this is attainable, and of course, if this is worth it here. That's a second additional benefit. Well, you'll get extra relief payments, it's called, just for driving. Let's continue. Dashers who qualify for both, because there's two separate benefits here, right, could save between $1.40 and $1.90 per gallon based on miles driven while actively completing deliveries in a week. Now, this is a limited time exclusive incentive program, relief program. The program will run until April 26th, 2026. So we're filming this on the 23rd of March. So this is around for 1 month. So you're going to want to take advantage of this and know how, know how this works for the next month here. Rising gas prices have a real impact on Dashers, especially those who are delivering the most. This program is about giving Dashers real savings at the pump. That quote from Cody Ogni, Vice President, Dasher and Logistics at DoorDash. Now, you can see here, we're going to detail the actual nuances of this program. But first, let me come back to you here. So on the high level, 10% cash back. Okay, how? We're going to get into this. How do you save the 10%? Do I have to go to certain gas stations? Now, they did detail it's the DoorDash Crimson card. It's a free debit card, by the way. There's no fees. There's no credit check. And by the way, that I don't get any kickback from DoorDash or anything. That I'm just letting you know. That's what the Crimson card is. You don't have to use it. You can get weekly deposits to your bank account, or you can have instant access to your funds with the Crimson card. So let's go over perk number 1, which is, yes, 10% cash back on gas, any station, anytime. And this reads, Dashers with again, the DoorDash Crimson Visa debit card will earn 10% cash back on every qualifying gas purchase at the pump, 5 times the standard 2% rate. So if you didn't know, if you have that, again, free Crimson debit card, there's no credit pull on that. It's just a perk offered as a Dasher. You'll have your funds deposited usually within seconds of finishing the Dash versus every week, once a week with your direct deposit. I mean, do whatever works best for you. But I mean, I have direct deposit, but that card is free. Now, as a perk, you would typically get 2% cash back at gas, pumps across the nation. But now it is 10%, 5 times the standard rates. Okay. Dashers can fill up at any U.S. gas station, whether they are on a Dash or not. It's very interesting. So you can get 10% cash back if you're on a Dash or not. So like, oh, I'm on the way home from work. Am I allowed to use it? Am I allowed to get the perk with my Crimson card? You can do it whenever. You can do it when you're running errands, when you're pausing your Dash, before you Dash, after you Dash, while you're on a Dash. Just, I'll tell you, try not to stop for gas while you're actually on an active delivery. We want to keep the ETAs good. But let's continue here. More than half of Dashers have a DoorDash Crimson card. There is almost 9 million DoorDash Dashers globally. Now, I don't know if this is pulling from US Dashers, this figure that, more than half of Dashers have a Crimson card. Maybe let me know if you have a Crimson card or if you use the weekly deposits. Any Dasher can apply for DoorDash Crimson within the Dasher app today. So I checked earlier. You just want to go to your earnings tab, and there is a prompt, some kind of notification there if you want to apply for the Crimson card. Again, it's free. There's no credit pull, and you get the 10% cash back for the next month. Default is still 2% cash back. So if you don't have a credit card that gives you gas incentives, if you don't have some kind of rewards card like from your grocery store, or if it's not at least 2%, you might want to look at the Crimson card to get the 2% cash back. Now, there's a few terms here. You can see the asterisks, so we'll detail that here as well. Welcome in, everyone. Sean is here live, has the Crimson card. Let me know organically, has questions. Where do I sign up? Great question. We're going to detail this. This just released this morning. This is directly from DoorDash, so we'll go over the details here of this program. Alex says gas is $4.39 in Chicago. DoorDasher Dude says $3.35 in Pasadena, Texas. Against about $3.80 here in Pittsburgh. And then Rocket asks, where do I sign up as well? So let's detail this. We can find out how you can get these perks here. $3.99 in Indy and $7 in California. Yeah. California, if you're in some of those markets, you are being affected by rising gas prices the most. So number one, you need the Crimson card. So if you're wondering how to get these perks, I would do it today. And again, I get zero affiliate or any kind of commission. I don't get any of that. So I'm just letting you know, to get this new program, you need that Crimson card. You can just sign up. You can see right here. Any Dasher can sign up for the Crimson card in the Dasher app. Now, if you're getting value so far, this just released. Can you like this video? Consider subscribing, because this next benefits, you can kind of see it right there, stacks on top of it and is very interesting. So let's get into benefit number 2. Weekly relief payments. Weekly relief payments. Eligible Dashers who drive 125 miles or more while actively on deliveries will receive a weekly fuel relief payment. It starts at $5 and goes up to a maximum of $15 per week based on miles driven. This is especially impactful for Dashers in rural or suburban areas who may travel more miles on delivery. So again, I'm in Pittsburgh and I typically drive in like this central Pittsburgh area. If I just go 15 minutes, 20 minutes out of the city into another sub marketplace, it changes dramatically. And if I continue 30 minutes or more out of the city, I mean, it gets even more rural. So I like that even DoorDash is like saying, very frankly here, if you're in a suburban or rural marketplace, you might travel more on a delivery. I think that's very candid, and that makes sense. If you're in a more suburban or rural marketplaces, what we call power strips, areas that are just dense with restaurants, I mean, it's going to be further away. That's just how it is. It's not the city. It's going to be more spaced out, most likely. That's the nature of that kind of area of the market. Dashers could save an estimated $1 to $1.50 a gallon from weekly relief payments alone, depending on how many miles they dash. So let's go into what they say about the payments based on miles driven. Is it just like what? Achievable, we'll say. Is it achievable? Is it fair based on the miles driven? And again, this is directly from DoorDash, an announcement that they just made today, and I'll make sure I leave that link down below after the stream. So you need a minimum of 125 miles driven a week for $5. That is estimated savings of $1 per gallon. And we'll go over how that's calculated. Again, you can see kind of some more detail in that asterisk right there. If you drive 200 miles while dashing in a week, you get $10. Estimated savings, $1.25 per gallon. If you drive 250 miles a week, you earn $15 in that week. That is the maximum cap. Estimated savings of $1.50 per gallon. Let's talk about these numbers. Number one, remember, this is on top of a 5 times increase to now 10% cash back on gas. Remember, you need the Crimson card, so go ahead and sign up for that if you want. And you can get that gas whether you're on a dash or not, and that's at any gas station in the US. So looking at this right here, 125 miles to 250 miles a week, is that feasible and or fair? So again, I've been doing gig work since 2015. 10 years. I've done it here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've done it in a much larger and probably arguably more competitive San Diego, California, and a few little areas in between. So on my shifts, which are typically anywhere from 2 hours, maybe you just do it here or there. You can let me know in the live or the comments below, like how often you do gig work. And we cover basically the entire industry here in the channel. So I'd invite you to subscribe here. 2 hour shifts to upwards of like 7 hour shifts I've done at a time. Those shifts range from 20 some miles for the day up to what I'd say 80, 90 miles in the day. It just depends how long I drive. So going back to this, 125 miles a week, 100% you can drive 125 miles a week dashing. I would even argue to say that is nothing if you're putting in more hours. Now, I don't know your situation. If you drive 5 hours a week, okay, then it gets a little bit, difficult to hit this. Now, I don't want you to drive miles just to drive miles to get a $5 incentive. I still want you to take the best paying margined offers for you. So please don't drive just for the sake of driving to get $5. But what I'm saying is it's very normal to hit 125 to 250 miles a week if you're putting a little bit more hours in. Let's talk about the pay. So $5 to $15, we cannot think about this as pay per mile, because that's basically what we teach you here. I want you to get $1.75 paid out per mile, $2 to $3 plus. That's what gets you the margin to make money on using the vehicle, other than just wearing the vehicle down and not getting enough pay. So here in the US, the standard optional mileage deduction is 72.5 cents. That encompasses the general operating costs of using this vehicle for business: gas, insurance, wear and tear. 72.5 cents, which is why I want you to have a margin between those two numbers to actually make money here. We can't really think about this as pay per mile, because come on, $5 for 125 miles. Don't think about it like that. Remember, this is additional, basically free subsidy, pay, relief payment, whatever you want to call it. This is just a little something extra for being out there and driving on top of the cash back for gas. Okay. Because otherwise you're going to be like, oh, that's like nothing. That's cents on the mile. Well, yeah, it's cents on the mile, but this is a brand new program where they were giving you nothing. And now they're giving you some, you can see here, a relief payment. Okay, but let's continue here. So the miles, yeah, you can easily hit these miles. Depends on how many miles you drive. Don't chase the miles for the reward. And then you can see the estimated savings here, but let's continue. Further help is available for Dashers who, what about the EVs, right? Who already drive electric or who are considering the switch. DoorDash offers dedicated programs to help reduce the cost of a new vehicle and reduce charging costs. DoorDash Crimson card holders earn 2% cash back on EV charging purchases, and all Dashers can access exclusive discounts on EV charging through Presto. So if you're like, well, I already drive an EV and this doesn't pertain to me, they're just letting you know, like, hey, we have some other benefits. You still get the 2% cash back on EV charging and more. Okay, but let's go over the terms here. Remember, these asterisks that I told you about right here, terms apply. So let's go over the terms now. Terms apply. Per gallon savings are calculated based on Dashers completing, of course, the range here, 125 to 250 miles in a week on active deliveries, and assuming the average fuel efficiency of 25.6 miles a gallon. I mean, they got to pick a number here to calculate these estimated savings here. That's about right, 25 miles a gallon. If you're under that, if your vehicle is a little bit under 25 miles a gallon, it doesn't mean it's the worst vehicle to use for gig work. If you're significantly under that, though, if you're like 13, 14, 16 miles a gallon, most likely you have a truck, you have a not very efficient vehicle, you might want to look at if it is worth it, because that vehicle is just not efficient on gas. That's for you to decide, though. Continuing. Any per gallon savings estimates are illustrative only, and actual savings may vary based on vehicle efficiency, fuel prices, and driving patterns. Exactly. They just got to ballpark it. They got to choose an estimated miles per gallon, national gas price. It's going to widely vary based on, how you drive the vehicle, how efficient your vehicle is, and the fuel prices in your markets. Okay? I'm sure you know that. Now, before we move on, right here, it does say 125 to 250 miles a week on active deliveries. So Again, is that going to be sustainable? Still probably yes. Now, if you're driving around and you don't have an assignment, apparently those miles aren't going to count. You have to be on an assignment. I don't want you to be driving around anyway without an assignment, right? Why would you? You can reposition every now and then. That's fine. You can do some repositioning, getting back into the power strips and stuff like that. But it looks like they're counting the miles on an active assignment. Obviously, they're going to tell and they know when you're on an active assignment. It's going to take you a little bit longer than the gross or total mileage, right? Because your total mileage is up here. And then the mileage when you're on an actual assignment, it's going to be a little bit less. Okay? Makes sense. Hey, that's the terms. Continuing. So when they said the 10% savings here, the cashback is only for qualifying purchases at the pump, gas rewards limited to $700 in total spend per month. Subject to eligibility requirements and limitations, may change without notice. So let's break this down. What does this mean? This is pertaining to the 10% cash back. So for the next month, they're giving 10% cash back, 5 times more than normal on qualifying purchases. What does this mean? I would assume this is only cash back on gas. So you know how like when you're at the gas pump, it asks if you want a car wash? Maybe your marketplace, you can like order food at the pump. I don't think I've seen that here in PA, Get-Go, Sheetz, all the other gas, but maybe you can, right? So this is just saying, hey, it's for qualifying purchases. Like this is a gas cashback perk, so it's got to be a gas purchase. Gas rewards limited to $700 in total spend per month. So they will give you 10% cash back. Remember, there's 2 perks here. 10% cash back, and then the relief payments. Now we're talking about the first one, okay? The 10% cash back. So they're saying that's limited to $700 in total spend per month. So you can't just fill up gas endlessly. They're like, all right, guys, we got to have a reasonable cap here. I mean, maybe let me know in the live chat or the comment section, how much money are you spending per month in gas? How much is it? Is it more or less than 700? I'm betting it's less than 700, unless you're really putting some hours in. I mean, to fill up the tank, I have a Volkswagen Passat. I don't know how many, the capacity, it's a 15-gallon tank or whatever it is. With $3.80 gas right now, what does that cost? Maybe $65 to fully fill it up from breadline empty? I don't know. So I'd have to fill it up 10 times a month to spend $700 straight from E. So, I mean, maybe. But anyway, that's the term. It's 700, because otherwise they wouldn't want someone being like, I'm going to fill up the gas tank. I'm going to fill up my wife's car. Honey, bring the canisters. We have 10 of those red gas canisters and you're getting 10% cash back on everything. There's terms. So there you go. Appreciate everyone being in here. And this is indeed live. Welcome in live. If you missed any live streams, I drive live as well. Tap the notification bell. Subject to eligibility requirements and limitations. So when you're at the pump, again, if they're going to detect any fraudulent behavior, I mean, the 700 cap makes a lot of sense. I can't imagine that anyone's going to really run into issues. That's just more legal stuff they got to put in there. The same things that says may change without notice. I can't anticipate anything's going to change. That's something that the legal department says, hey, we got to put that in there. So I wouldn't really worry about the back half of that part, okay? Let's continue. If you're just joining, 2 massive gas relief programs were just announced this morning. If you appreciate me bringing this to you first, this was just announced 30 minutes ago, basically when we went live. Like this video and consider subscribing. If you're on iOS, I encourage you to track your miles as well. We have a free mileage tracking app, ShiftMate, at shiftmateapp.com. You can also try Premium for free because that is going to measure your driving as well and tell you if it's actually worth it. If you're on Android, I invite you to go to this website as well and sign up for our newsletter so you'll be in the know when we expand to Android. Subject to eligibility requirements and successful ID verification. Okay, what is this? Now this you can see here, it's 3 asterisks. So let's get a reminder what this was referring to. Right here. Any Dasher can apply for DoorDash Crimson within the Dasher app. So that's referring to subject to eligibility and successful ID verification. Obviously, that is just an identity check. To make sure if you're signing up for a debit card, Crimson is not a credit card. There's no fees and there's no credit pull. It's just to get your money faster. It's a partnership that DoorDash has. That is the Crimson card. Go to your earnings tab. You can apply there if you want. Now there's some, actually you will see it right below here. There's some regulatory things that they have to ask for identity purposes, your name, your address, stuff like that. But again, there's no credit pull. I don't get a commission. Okay, that's what the Crimson card is. So let's go over some of those terms of that Crimson card. The DoorDash Crimson deposit account is established by Starion Bank, member FDIC. The DoorDash Crimson Visa debit card is issued by Starion Bank pursuant to a license from Visa USA, Inc. Certain fees, terms, and conditions are associated with the approval, maintenance, and use of the deposit account and card, etc., etc. You can read the rest, pretty straightforward. And I did see that they do, if you sign up for Crimson, they got to ask for your name, you got to have a selfie check, maybe address, but again, there's no hard credit pull there, so don't worry about that. So in summary, here are the 2 perks that they just announced today. If you're just joining or you just want a refresher right here, let me give you my initial verdict on this. As someone who DoorDashes, I would DoorDash maybe today or tomorrow, but my vehicle is having issues. So I'm going to call the garage right after this. I'll leave a video linked either above or down below if you want to follow what happened to my work vehicle. So kind of tying into that, I think it's always good if you can save money, and I know a lot of the nation is really feeling the tight, economy right now with gas prices. And even though, Pittsburgh, if we're at like $3.80 a gallon, yeah, it's maybe not as pressured as if you're in $5, $6, $7 a gallon territory. Like still, this is something you could take advantage of for the next month for free. This is a free incentive program. So here's a complete breakdown. 10% cash back, there we go. With the Crimson card, you got to have the Crimson card. Is this a push to get more people on Crimson? I don't think so. I don't even think DoorDash does any upselling on the Crimson card. I'm pretty sure it's just a perk, okay? And then the relief payments. The relief payments are not meant to be like, oh my gosh, I'm getting a ton of free money. No, it's a relief payment. If you're driving anyway, it's to supplement, you can see here, a little bit of savings to save on gas. That's all that is. It's a little bit of savings to offset for the next month rising gas prices. I think it's good that they were proactive. I have not really seen any other platform address the current situation of rising gas prices. We've seen this before, though. We've seen gas relief programs from other platforms in the past, but for the current day economies of rising gas prices, it's good to see. But it is for 1 month. So just to let you know, this right here is until April 26th, right here. And there's our final kind of point right here. I want to take your questions, but there's kind of a nice summary. So you can qualify for both. If you have the Crimson card, you get 10% cash back. You can get the weekly relief payments. And in essence, here's like a good takeaway. It's going to be between $1.40 and $1.90 savings per gallon of gas. So think about it. If you're in a $6 per gallon marketplace, it's going to feel more like 4 something. And remember, like that's per gallon. So my Passat is what? I don't know, a 13 to 15 gallon tank capacity. So you're saving what? Almost $2 per gallon. If I'm filling up, I'm saving what? $30? 15 gallon tank, I'm saving almost $2 there. So right around $30 in savings just on one fill up. And I'm going to get both the 10% cash back and the gas relief payment there. So let me get your questions right now. What do you think of this program? Just announced this morning. I'll give you a second to put a question mark, and let me know your thoughts on this program. Is this going to help you out? Do you think you would use this? Would this encourage you to sign up for Crimson? If you don't use that Crimson card, I was looking online to see what Dashers were saying about the Crimson card. It seemed pretty straightforward. I heard some pretty good things about Crimson. It's pretty straightforward to use, It's a free card. Do you think other platforms are going to do this? Let's see what you're saying.